that green light. Give me that green light, Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that green light, Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that green light, Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that green light, Maine.
Welcome to Greenlight Maine. Our college season is underway, and what a season this is shaping up to be. The students are tech savvy, socially responsible, and have what it takes to bring their companies to the next level. The top three will share $25,000, but we have seen over and over again the exposure alone has connected companies to opportunities worth much more. And we have some great connectors on the show serving as judges this season. Let's check in with them now. We have Garvin Donegan from the Central Maine Growth Council. So happy to have you, Garvin. And the Growth Council is such a resource. Can you talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Julene. Really encourage any Maine-based startup or even a potential new company or entrepreneur that's coming to the state of Maine to look at Dirigo Labs, one of our newest accelerator programs in the state of Maine, a free accelerator program at dirigolabs.org. And this is to help companies launch well. And more broadly, even if the entrepreneur, the startup, maybe is not the perfect fit for an accelerator at this time, we have a number of resources, incubators. But again, the Central Maine Growth Council being a public-private economic development organization that is non-parochial, our goal is to grow jobs, grow businesses, and local GDP. So we are truly here, public service with a smile, to help you succeed in the state of Maine.
I love it. Next up, we have Mel Macarell from Bangor Savings Bank. And I always say, you got to have a good relationship with your banker.
That is so true, Julene. Thank you so much. I think if you ask any seasoned business owner here in the state of Maine, they'll tell you that one of the most important relationships they have is with their banker. So I would encourage any new person starting out with a new idea or a new business plan to make sure that they know, who their relationship manager might be down the road as they continue to think about scaling and growing their business. Outside of traditional banks, there are other sort of routes to receive financing and counseling and support from. Places like the SBA, Finance Authority of Maine are all great resources that folks should ensure that they are making connections through.
And finally, we have Amy LaShore from Maine Technology Institute, which is a valuable resource in and of itself.
Hi, Julene. Yeah, we often will steer our applicants to find themselves either a SCORE mentor, which is a free service that's all over the state of Maine. There's 3 chapters, one in Portland, one in Bangor, and one in Western Maine. Or there's a little known resource with the Maine Center for Entrepreneurs, MCE. They have a mentor network. It's quite an extensive list of folks that can either meet with you for a cup of coffee because they're in your field, or all the way to sit on as an advisory position on your board.
Excellent. Great resources. Okay, we are ready for our first pitch, and they are almost ready for takeoff. They're called Mallard Enterprises from the Root Institute.
Hello, my name is Daniel Peabody Harrington. I'm the co-founder and COO of Mallard Enterprises, as well as a graduate student at the Root Institute at Northeastern University. Mallard Enterprises is solving the problem of connectivity. The connectivity of goods, connectivity of people, and the connectivity of services. We are doing so with our product, the ME-1A, a twin turboprop amphibious aircraft that will be certified under Part 23 of the FAA. For those of you that aren't familiar with amphibious terminology, an amphibious aircraft is an aircraft that can land on the largest airports in the world, or on Sebago Lake, or in Casco Bay Harbor. It can land on water. What this allows is the product to bypass current established infrastructure of airports, which is a huge need. A regional airport can cost between $1.5 and $3 billion to construct, and in many regions of the world, that's simply too great a capital investment. Our product can not only bypass that infrastructure need, but connect areas without that infrastructure to areas with. We see no better case of this useful need than the UDAN Regional Connectivity Scheme in India, which proposed that the use of amphibious aircraft would increase their useful landings in the country from 500 to 500,000. The Mallard Enterprises team is made up of experienced aircraft professionals, engineers, project managers, and salespeople. We see a total addressable market of $26 billion by 2025, with a serviceable addressable market of $350 million a year, or 40 aircraft a year. Other than regional airline markets, we see cargo, defense and coastal patrol, and air ambulances as areas where we can also sell our product into. We're located in Brunswick Landing, Maine, at the former Naval Air Base, and have plans to scale there. And really the reason is because they have everything we need. They have an established workforce, they have hangar space, they have a 8,000-foot runway, and they're located next to fresh and salt water where we can do test flights. It's also a great place to live and work, as we all know. I'm a Mainer. I've lived in Maine my whole life, and I want to stay in Maine. And one of the ways we do so is by creating impactful, long-lasting STEM jobs backed by great ideas, and this is one of them. We are looking forward to growing in Maine over the next decade.
Dan, that was such a compelling pitch with great pictures. But one thing I like that you said is that you're a Mainer and that you want to stay in Maine. So I think you scored some points with the judges.
Thanks.
Okay, let's kick off the questions with Garvin.
Thanks, Julene. Dan, awesome pitch, really exciting, and probably helping us achieve those elusive Maine days where we can get from the slopes to the coast even more quickly. Can you touch a little bit on early traction with regards to potential buyers or users and any key milestones that have occurred with regards to that traction?
Yeah, for sure. We actually just this past November had the opportunity to go out to the Dubai Air Show with help from the Maine International Trade Center. And out there we had the chance to meet with, a number of people, which was the first time in person really since the pandemic. We got to have those conversations, not over the telephone. And that was super valuable for us to really get, feel like we got some traction. There's a number of different types of utility customers in the sense of different configurations of the airplane that we've met with and found interest. Anywhere from for defense, coastal defense, or transportation to and from island resort, or even regional commuter aircraft. As I mentioned in my pitch, there's really a big push in India right now to try to leverage the water out there to create essentially these new airports. So when we were out there, we had the chance to actually meet with major airlines in India and talk with them about our product. And we had some really great interest, and we're hoping, this year in 2022 to push forward on a lot of that traction and move forward and get some LOIs signed.
Great, thank you.
Mel, next question.
Great pitch, Dan. Very intriguing for sure. I guess my question is more centered around why the Mallard. So, planes that can land on land and sea are not necessarily a new concept. So tell us why you chose this model plane to sort of launch your business line with.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a great question. There's a lot of reasons that the design of the aircraft went out of style after it was originated, like I said, almost 100 years ago. But a lot of those reasons are really regaining shape. The reason that the amphibious aircraft went out of style after World War II was because the advent of concrete runways was just a lot more common than it was back then. But we're seeing kind of the same problem that led it to be so popular pre-World War II really take place in a lot of the developing regions of the world. Just infrastructure, even here in the US hasn't kept pace with growth over the last 20 years. And it's even more to that sense in other regions of the world where the inability to, like I said, spend $1.5 to $3 billion on a regional airport and not even having the space in some regions has kind of brought about the need again for the technology. But there's just not really a large manufacturer out there producing it. And so that's where we see a lot of opportunity in the product. It's not a new concept, but there's a new need.
Very interesting concept, yes. Okay, Amy.
Thanks, Dan. That was really very interesting and compelling. I was hoping you could speak to the specific upgrades or changes you're making to the aircraft, and if you're running into any hurdles with the FAA.
For sure. So because of working with the FAA, they essentially, it's some would see it as a barrier, others see it as almost a partnership where we get to partner with them to make sure we're providing the safest and best aircraft possible. And that's the way we like to think of it, is that they're almost assisting us in making the best product possible. As part of the improvements we're making, we're extending the cabin a little bit. We're trying to make it wider to ensure different cargo configurations. But again, all of it is really aimed at the safety of the aircraft, and just having the best product possible. So we look at the FAA as really a partnership opportunity.
Well, I have no doubt you will have the best product possible. So congratulations. You're out there, Brunswick Landing at Tech Place, where major things are happening. It's very exciting, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, we need to take a quick break and hear from our sponsors, but don't go anywhere because our next pitch is coming right up.
Bangor Savings Bank, committed to investing in its employees, customers, and communities to help create a stronger Northern New England. Bangor Savings Bank. You matter more.
Maine Technology Institute, offering grants, loans, and equity investments to help support Maine's innovation economy and committed to supporting new ideas with potential to grow. Visit mainetechnology.org.
Welcome back to the Greenlight Maine College Edition. We have a student that's combining athletics with technology. From the University of New England, here's Patrick Shenna with Goalivation.
Hi everyone, my name is Pat Shenna, and today I'll be sharing with you Goalivation Sports Performance. This product combines artificial intelligence with video replay to analyze body movements and visual attachment for goaltenders and their coaches to make game-changing adjustments. So a little quickly about me, I've been playing goal for 18 years. I've been coaching the position for 6. And what I've noticed throughout is that goaltenders with strong goaltending IQ, body maximization, and vision are able to separate themselves from their peers and ultimately move up to the next level. So 3 basic challenges that we face in goaltending coaching today is the access to cameras, either financially or the ability to use them yourself, the development of analytical technology, and proper goaltending instruction depending on where you live. Obviously here in Maine, we're very spoiled with the development of hockey, but if you lived somewhere like New Mexico, you wouldn't quite have the same resources. So how my product is gonna fix these problems, we're gonna have 2 cameras operating at 240 frames per second to allow for slow motion replay. From there, they're gonna be sent to the cloud where they can be accessed from the internet, and we're gonna configure neural networks that will use artificial intelligence to give accurate feedback. So the way this is gonna look is if you see that middle picture right on the right, it's going to have 2 frames side by side that captures both simultaneously, the goaltender and the shooter. And then you can see in that bottom right photo, the markings that it's going to make on the goalies and the shooters. So you can see that progression with very specifically those orange dots, orange marks on the head of the goaltender. You can see that tracking down as the shot is being released. From here, goalies and coaches can review these clips and make changes. Oftentimes a goalie coach can try to explain something to somebody, but unless the goaltender can see it for themselves, he or she is going to have a very hard time breaking that down and processing that to be able to incorporate it into his or her game. And it also allows for goalies, team goalie coaches to use pre-scouts on opponent goaltenders to try to find their weaknesses. And ultimately give your team a better chance to win. Lastly, one of the additional services that we will offer is a database of goaltending coaches from around the world to fill that location problem. So that way you can reach out to a goalie coach in another market and work with them to perfect your game. So that was my product. I hope you all enjoyed, and thank you for this opportunity.
Pat, this is super cool. Just tell us about yourself as a coach and a player.
So I've been coaching goalies for a really long time. I played NCAA hockey at the University of New England, where I graduated this past year, and now I'm a grad assistant slash goalie at Boston University.
Always a good team.
Yeah, very good.
All right, Garvin, let's hear some questions.
Thanks, Julene. Pat, great pitch. Outsourcing our hockey talent to Massachusetts, I don't know about, but that's a dialogue for another day. In terms of your technology, really interesting. What is differentiating your technology with, say, your competitors or a similar product on the market?
I think coding the neural networks are different and untapped in the hockey industry. I know that it's being used for things like yoga and baseball pitchers, but they've really never, a neural network for this has never really been coded before, especially for hockey, ice hockey goaltenders. So I think to be able to code this neural network by using the ones that have already been established in other activities, like physical activities, it gives you a head start, so you don't have to start from scratch. But at the same time, it's never been done before in goaltending.
Mel.
Thanks, Pat. Great pitch. Big hockey family over here. My brother-in-law was a goalie, so got some background there as well. I have a 7-year-old that's also has his heart set on being a goalie. So anyway, my question is really sort of around looking for more of an update on where you are in developing a prototype and testing this. I know based on your pitch, I got the impression that the pandemic has kind of put you behind a little bit. So I'm curious to know where you are today on that testing.
Right. So yeah, obviously we got shut down with COVID last year, UNE. But now I'm working with the Build Lab here at BU. So the first semester I started doing research, just breaking down goaltending statistics and see what kind of gaps there are in the data. And now going forward into this next semester, we're going to be spending a lot of time at the Build Lab here at BU and starting to really put it to try to bring it to life here.
Awesome. Amy.
Pat, that was great to see your pitch and something that you've been doing for such a long period of time and have an incredible depth of knowledge in, and then bringing that as an entrepreneur. It's really good to see. And so I'm curious, so is this something that you think will stick at college level, or are you looking to scale it into other markets? Are you thinking, little leagues, I don't know if that's what they're called when they're younger, up to professional, pro sports clubs?
Right. So obviously it could be a big difference maker in professional hockey. But at the same time, there's only 32 NHL teams, and each one has probably 2 minor league teams each. So, you're really not looking at a huge sample size. And college hockey is the same way. There's probably about 60 Division I teams, and that's kind of it. So, and I think it's really more useful for youth players. And if you look at the state of Maine and all of New England combined, we have a lot of youth programs here in New England, which I think would be of great benefit, because that's the development piece of the product, is to try to develop youth goalies into becoming better than they otherwise would have been able to be. So I think there's a large pool here in New England for this to work.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
I have a quick question. What would you do with the money, Pat?
I would definitely put it back into goaltending, research and development, growing the game in other parts of the country where it's not very big. One of the things I like most about my product is that it can be used from anywhere. So, people who live, where the hockey market isn't huge will then have an opportunity to really grow. And I think that's a great thing, spreading the game throughout the United States and even the world in some countries where hockey is not big, but you have players who want to develop and get better. So I think using the money to grow the game in other places, I think would be really cool.
Well, we have no doubt that you are going to do that. So good luck to you, and we can't wait to see where you go with this.
Awesome. Thank you guys for your time. I really appreciate it. This is awesome.
All right, we have to take a quick break. When we come back, our judges are going to deliberate, so don't go away.
Martins Point Generations Advantage, offering comprehensive Medicare Advantage plans. Information at martinspoint.org.
If you own a business and want to get more involved with Greenlight Maine, go to our website at greenlightmaine.com. Partnering with us means supporting startups, creating jobs, and building Maine's economy.
There's an old saying in the world of entrepreneurship that delivered is better than perfect. Similar to most every other thing, a perfect product or a perfect service is hard to define and even harder to create. This is due in large part because most customers that have the same primary need may have a variety of different tastes and preferences as it relates to the finer details of that product or service. That's why it's so much more advantageous for an entrepreneur to get what they are offering to a point where it addresses the primary problem and then get it out to the market. Once customers start to buy and interact with the product or service, that is when the entrepreneur will have the best feedback as to what their customers like and don't like about it. When this happens, we say that the entrepreneur has been able to validate their solution. Now here's the best thing of all. By delivering the product or service, even in an imperfect state, they get to continue to work on it to make it better while they are getting paid.
Welcome back to the Greenlight Maine College Edition. This is the time of the show that we get to hear from our judges on what they think. We had two amazing companies, Mallard Enterprises and Goalivation. Garvin, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, thank you, Julie. Another two fascinating startups with a lot of upside on the growth perspective. For Mallard, really thinking about what that might mean for Maine's aeronautical manufacturing industry is very exciting, with lenses and imports and exports, but still probably a longer pathway in terms of securing some contracts and some deal flow. On the flip side, Pat and Goalivation is quite exciting, probably has a shorter runway in terms of securing its first, say, 3 users. Really liking the built-in customer base with regards to athletics, of which there's expertise in. Both companies and startups look to make a big impact for Maine and New England.
Great comments. Okay, Mel.
You know, Dan in Mallard Enterprises, he clearly has a commitment to Maine. A lot of potential to create some really good jobs here in Maine, specifically in the Brunswick area. So that was really positive. I love the idea that it's not necessarily a new concept. It's sort of a new look at an old concept that has a proven track record. It's worked in the past. It should work again in the future. I would be really interested to see where they are post him bringing on this new sales team that he talked about. That's really going to have a focus in the markets that he is looking at, sort of being his target audience, and getting a little bit more letters of intent signed and moving forward on those contract negotiations. With Goalivation, I think Pat's personal experience is, definitely in his favor here. He's been a goalie for a long time. He's been a goalie coach for a long time, so clearly knows the ins and outs of the industry really well. I think his product could, fill the gap for a resource need and ensure that, sports coaching is available across different sports in any part of the state or country for that matter. But I would like to see him come a little further along in his prototyping, get a little testing under his belt, get a little better understanding of his manufacturing costs, and understanding what his price point will actually be.
Excellent comments. And you folks learned off camera that Dan from Mallard wants to create 350 jobs in Maine. And with Pat, it's just him, but he is taking his time and building a team. Okay, Amy.
Sure. I mean, much of what I think has actually been spoken to already. With Mallard, they're a bit of a chicken and egg scenario. They need to have a prototype to get a buyer. They'll need a buyer to be able to build out a prototype. And so they definitely have a little bit of a journey ahead of them. For Goalivation, just the depth of Pat's experience really speaks to his passion. And I think the passion and just where he's going with this, he's going to be able to take it where he needs to take it. I will say that I think it has quite a lot of potential, and all of the goal-oriented sports, so soccer, field hockey, etc., should he choose to take it there.
Great comments. Yes, he absolutely has other sports that he can venture on to. All right, thank you all so much. We have to take a very quick break. When we come back, we're going to have a winner, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
Albin, Randall, and Bennett, committed to providing accounting solutions to Greenlight Maine startups, working with businesses and organizations that operate locally and nationally. ARBCPA.com.
Through their efforts to support Maine entrepreneurs who are growing our economy, Greenlight Maine is making our state a better place to start and operate a business. For these efforts and the creation of a robust entrepreneurial ecosystem, the Harold Alfond Institute for Business Innovation at Thomas College is proud to be a sponsor of Greenlight Maine.
First Park, a 285-acre business park located in Oakland, Maine, offering fiber internet, 3-phase power, and pre-permitted sites for businesses to start or expand. Details at firstpark.com.
Welcome back to the Greenlight Maine College Edition. If you or someone you know is interested in starting a business, we have a lot of resources out there, but you can start with our website, greenlightmaine.com, and then reach out to us, and we can always connect you with somebody that might be able to help you. But for now, we have to find out who the winner is of this round. So judges, I'm going to count you down. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. And that means Goalivation is the winner of this round. Congratulations, Pat. Tell me what's on your mind.
I'm just really excited. I'm very fortunate for this opportunity to be here and pitch my idea to you guys. It's really nice to know that we can continue to grow the sport here in Maine.
That's all the time that we have for today, but we love hearing from you and appreciate your comments. So please check us out on our social pages. And if you want to see our episodes, just go to greenlightmaine.com. We'll see you right back here next week. Have a great week.
Greenlight Maine Productions appreciates the generous underwriters that support our mission to build strong businesses in Maine. Thank you.
Give me that green light. Give me that green light, Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that green light, Maine.